I've been a record breaker, taking credit as an educator. I've been known to spit the flows and make it shaky, shaky thing. Popping, locking, stopping, let it hang. Watch us as we drop this hip-hop, it's like it stings. We make the whole room drop and everybody sing. We want the funk. We gotta have that funk. We kick it old school, we think we're so cool. We take it back to the past, we gonna act a fool. Up jumps the middle finger, make my yeah.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Sports Buzz, the Fanatical View. I am your host, Scott D. Lewis, here live in studio, Comcast Cable, Channel 23, downtown Danbury, Connecticut, on this January 19th. A little bit cloudy, a little bit rainy.
It was a little warmer.
But the temperatures have been warm enough as we spiral out of control to the day America died.
You're talking about the new
the
regime?
eve of destruction. We sit here on a Thursday evening live to 6:30 to 7 o'clock, and tomorrow we turn our fates to the Donald.
For number 45.
Scary proposition, I must say. What number is he?
45th.
45th. Very, very, very interesting times we do live in here. But anyways, that is going on tomorrow. Today we are here. 203-792-4101 is the number. We'll be here until 7 o'clock if you want to give a call and talk. We shall say hello to my right-hand man right now, Mr. Bob Broad Jr.
Hi, Scott. What's cooking?
Not too much, you know. Just
I see we got a couple of new guys in the Hall of Fame.
We do have a few new guys in all, Connecticut guys, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Hartford University.
University of Hartford, yes. Mr. Jeff Bagwell.
Jeff Bagwell gets it done, finally.
His one who was with him last year went in. Craig Biggio went in last year.
Biggio went in, the killer, part of the Killer Bees. Of course, Bagwell, everybody knows, former Red Sox in that infamous trade. Was it Larry Anderson?
Yeah,
Who's the reliever? They traded to try to win now. They did not, and Bagwell went on to have a Hall of Fame career. But, you know.
And Rock Raines and Pudge Rodriguez.
I was happy to see Tim Rock Raines finally get in. He's been on the list for a while. And Pudge Rodriguez, proven winner, great all-around player, awesome catcher, so I don't have any qualms with that. So good for them, and hats off to the new Hall of Famers. Bob's show, Spotlight on Tuesday nights at 9, Wednesdays at 12. Mike Toohey is in the control room running things solo once again. Expose Cinema, Friday nights at 9, Wednesdays at 1. The family is here.
Yes, they are.
Including the student of the month, I hear, correct?
Yes, she is.
Speaking of Hall of Fame, Bob.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, student of the month from Morris Street School.
Jenna Faco gets it done. Second year in a row she pulls off this trophy, or this award. She gets a little badge and all that stuff. So congratulations, Jenna. We're waiting for Connor to come up with such an award. Is that going to happen ever, do you think?
Hopefully.
Maybe. We will keep our fingers crossed and keep steering him in the right direction as we give him our guidance here at the studio. And we know he does a great job for us, so I'm sure he does a great job in the school as well. I did want to make mention, Fatty Roots is winding down their month-long residency at the Acoustic Cafe in Bridgeport. They've done 3 shows to rave reviews. They have one more left. Next Wednesday night, I will be heading back. I saw the first one, missed the last couple, but I will go back for the final encore and check them out. They had a good crowd there last night, I saw, and it should be a good time. I'm sure they'll come up with a great final show in their month-long residency at the Acoustic Cafe. Fatty Roots, of course, the music you hear here in the background. We did hear also from Strange Man, Bob.
Oh, you've heard from him? He got off the ledge?
Well, kind of. He sent me a sort of a trivia question with no answer.
What was the trivia
we'll
question?
mull it over ourselves as we start getting into the football in a moment. Patriots are going to be on their way to the 6th straight AFC Championship game.
Correct.
Only second team to do that.
Right.
Make it to 6 straight championship games. And he said, who was the other team? Either the 90s Cowboys or the 70s Raiders. My guess was the Cowboys. I'm
Boys.
hoping maybe he's out there in TV land.
Yeah, and
he calls in 203-792-4101. Strange man, if you're alive, if you're out there, call us and tell us what the answer is. Or if anybody else is out there and knows which team. My guess was the Cowboys. I know that Raiders team was good, but I don't know that they made 6 straight.
Especially 90s. I mean,
in the 70s.
70s. I thought
the John Madden teams.
That's a tough one because I'm really not sure on that.
But we know they won a couple and they made the Super Bowl and they were
Right.
always going up against Pittsburgh.
Right.
But I don't know. 6 seems like a lot. I would guess the Cowboys' domination of the early 90s
Right.
was probably the only other time that it happened. But who knows? Maybe Strange Man will call or somebody else will. All right. I will mention, I'm not going to get political like I did after the election. I will stay calm here, but I did notice a interesting sports-related political thing that took place. President Barack Obama got his final championship team to come to the White House this week. So one more team slipped in before he heads out. And it was his beloved Chicago Cubs were there this week. So a fitting end to his run. He got to see his hometown team, the Cubbies, come in, and he got to congratulate them on their World Series win. So good for him. Good for him for doing such a great job for 8 years, staying dignified and graceful throughout any difficulties he had, and providing a nice face for the country to look to. Not so sure that'll be the case starting tomorrow. Or I guess I should say starting Monday, because I think the Donald said he's going to go golfing this weekend, right? Down in Florida.
Something like that.
Inauguration tomorrow, but he's going to take the weekend off and then go to Florida.
Right.
Start on Monday.
Yeah.
So world leaders around the world, if you wanted
so is
to.
he going to be at Trump Towers, or is he staying
You
in the White
want
House?
to do anything to the United States, this is your weekend, because the president's going to be out of town. There'll be no president until Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. All right, so we're going to get into the football. Or did you want to talk Australian Open, Bob? There was a big upset.
What was the big upset?
Djokovic out!
What?
Novak Djokovic out in the second round. Unbelievable. Last year
Really?
at this time, we were looking at Djokovic as the clear and present, just dominating force in tennis, and he won the Australian Open, and it looked like he was going to be contending throughout, but some injuries during the season last year knocked him off pace, and now he's out in the second round. So funny how things change. He looked like a completely unbeatable force, but not so much. All right, we'll get to the football, Bob. Let's start with the Patriots game Saturday night against the Texans. It was a little bit ugly in the first half. The Texans do have the #1 rated defense, so
They do.
You know,
Yeah,
there was
gotta give
a
them that
chance
much
that there
credit.
could be some tough times for the Patriots, and they did step up and play some games. Patriots looked a little sloppy after the bye week. 2 interceptions by Brady, and that helped the Texans keep the game close through the first half, 17-13 at halftime.
But then the Patriots settled down, so.
Well, I wasn't concerned because I knew the defense on the Patriots side wasn't going to give up anything
Right.
as long as the turnovers
Right.
stopped happening, which they did in the second half by the Patriots. But the Texans' turnovers did not,
No.
as the Patriots defense racked up 3 sacks and 3 interceptions of their own. And, you know, they only let the Texans go 3 for 16 on third down. So they did come away with that 34-16 win. Neon Lewis was the name of the game here. A kick return for a touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown. I do believe the first player to get 3 different types of scores in a playoff game. He did have 1 fumble, so the Patriots had 3 turnovers in the game. They'll have to clean that up coming up this weekend. We mentioned this will be their 6th straight AFC championship game. Strange men, are you out there? Give us the answer. We don't know. But anyways, they will be getting ready to face the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, in a pretty ugly game, and the interesting, Bob, when was the last time, do you think that's ever happened, really, a playoff game was changed because of weather? It's supposed to be that Sunday 1 o'clock time slot, which I was looking
moved it
forward
to till late, what was it, almost 8 o'clock?
It was the 8. They put it into primetime, 8:30, because of an ice storm that ripped through the Midwest And, I don't think the conditions were really all that bad. They should have just played the game at 1. I think this was more of a TV thing.
Wasn't there like a blizzard one time that we moved the game up?
Oh, maybe, but in the playoffs, I don't know that I can remember it ever happening in the playoffs. So they moved that game to Sunday night, and it turned into a field goal kicking contest as the Steelers get 6 field goals in this game and win it 18-16. The Chiefs couldn't do much offensively as Alex Smith only threw for 172 yards, a touchdown and interception, but he did lead them to that touchdown and what appeared to be the game-tying 2-point conversion with just over 2 minutes left. But it was nullified by a somewhat dubious holding penalty, which the Chiefs were certainly upset about, and they didn't mince words after the game. Travis Kelce saying the referee shouldn't be allowed to work at the sneaker place.
Oh, yeah.
Foot Locker.
Yeah.
After that penalty that he called. And Coach Andy Reid, surprising, I thought he'd take the high road, but he actually didn't say, he thought it was not, should have been called either. But still, defensively, you don't give up any touchdowns and you're at home and you lose. They needed to make one more defensive play because Andy Reid chose to kick the ball deep and not go for the onside kick. He had the one timeout, the 2-minute warning, and it worked in essence because it set up a 3rd and 7. They pinned them deep at the 5-yard line on that kickoff, Bob. And if they stop them on 3rd down, they're going to get great field position and a chance to kick a game-winning field goal with about a minute and a half left. And they can't come up with a stop on 3rd and 7 as Big Ben rolls and it completes to Antonio Brown, who did not have a big game, but he made that big catch to get that 1 first down they needed, and then they run out the clock. So it's the Steelers. Le'Veon Bell led them with 170 rushing yards. Big Ben only 224, no touchdowns to 1 interception for him as well. Steelers heading to Foxborough for yet another playoff matchup. These two teams have had 4 great playoff matchups since 96, 97. And the first one was my favorite of all in the 96-97 divisional playoff game in the old Foxborough Stadium.
Yes.
The Fog Bowl, Bob.
Oh, I remember the Fog Bowl.
As Terry Glenn, the Jet, appears out of the fog for the bomb early in that game over the head of the future Hall of Famer Rod Woodson. And that set the tone for the game as the Patriots routed them 28-3. Curtis, my favorite, Martin, had the big 78-yard touchdown run in that first half as they went up 28-0. He totaled 166 yards on the day. Ben Winter-Coates was in that game. How about Keith Byers and Dave Meggett as well, part of that Patriots team that went on to the Super Bowl, losing to the Packers in a tough one. But that was a great start to really what was the turnaround in the Patriots franchise as Bill Parcells had changed the fortunes of that team. And it was a handful of years later that they would get their first Super Bowl. But that really did set the tone, despite the fact that Parcells left them high and dry, and most people think he's a hypocrite, Foxborough Patriot fans that is. We still do have that respect for him for turning around the franchise. The following year, in Pete Carroll's one of his years, they lost to the Steelers 7-6 at old Three Rivers Stadium.
But that was a
tough game. I remember that game. I had family, Christmas holiday type situation. I was trying to watch the end of the game. Dinner was being served.
And you're like,
they were saying, turn the TV off. Expletives were shouted. It was ugly. Merry Christmas to everybody. Patriots lose. So that was the only time the Patriots lost to the Steelers. Then, en route to their first Super Bowl championship, 2001-2002, the AFC Championship game in the new Heinz Field. It was the Patriots 24-17. This game, Bob, Patriots are up 21-3 early, but it was 21-17 late in the third quarter as Pittsburgh kept coming back. Troy Brown had the punt return for a touchdown. He also blocked a field goal that somebody else picked up for a touchdown return. And it was also Drew Bledsoe having his shining moment because this was the year that he was knocked out by the Mo Lewis hit or, gave him internal bleeding, almost killed him in that Jets game early in the season. And Tom Brady came in and took over the reins much like the Dak Prescott, Tony Romo situation this year, and they kept Brady in, but Brady had that banged up ankle from the Tuck game, the Snow Bowl against the Raiders, and Bledsoe had to play that game. He delivered the big touchdown pass to Givens, I think it was, in the back of the end zone, so he had his moment to help them get to the Super Bowl where Brady retook over and they won it against the Rams. And then in 2004-2005 season, AFC Championship game again at Heinz Field, it was the Patriots all over the Steelers, 41-27. 24-3 at halftime, a blowout by all regards. Rodney Harrison with the big 87-yard interception return for a touchdown. Plaxico Burress in that game for the Steelers, Hines Ward, and Big Ben. I'm surprised he's been around as long as he has.
Yeah, I know.
That's a long time for him. I think that was that first year he took over. He might have been the first rookie to lead a team to a championship game, I believe. And there we see some nice Patriot cheerleaders photos. There's been complaints lately by the guys in the studio here. I have not been coming up with the cheerleader photos. So
speaking of the cheerleaders, they may be back.
Who's that?
The Patriot cheerleaders.
Oh, coming back to town here, where they were up at 1st and 10 in New Milford the other year?
No,
they were at the WestCon, right?
WestCon for the home show.
Well, keep me posted, Bob.
Yes.
We'll see, maybe. All right, let's move to the NFC. I'm sure we are running out of time already.
Yeah.
We still got some time. All right, we're moving along here. We'll do the boring game first. The Falcons, Dirty Birds, keep the dome open with a 36-20 blowout victory, clipping the wings of the Seahawks. And that game was not even as close as it was because the Seahawks got a garbage time touchdown, so really it was 36-13 late in the fourth quarter. The Loudmouths out of Seattle, maybe this could be the one time we shut them up for good. I mean, they have no respect for anybody.
No.
They just yap, yap, yap. So I am not too displeased to see them get their comeuppance there and knocked out early in the playoffs by the Falcons. Russell Wilson, 2 interceptions. He was sacked in the end zone for a safety. Not good. Matt Ryan, 338 yards and 3 touchdowns. Pretty good performance by him. And they will get to advance to the championship game and see if they can close the Dome with a victory. No matter what, it'll be the last game played in the Georgia Dome.
Right.
But, maybe they can go out with a win. They're going to have to do it by knocking off the Packers, who last time I saw them was in 2011 in the Dome, and the Packers spanked them 48-21. But here we have, in this game, it was the Packers 34-31 against the Cowboys, Bob, in the game of the weekend, really.
But the Packers were ahead.
Yeah, up early, and here we see the Cowboys cheerleaders, which will be the only thing the Cowboys fans can enjoy going forward, since they cannot enjoy their team advancing. Packers up early, 21-3. It looked like it was going to be a blowout.
Beat them all the way. But then...
Yeah, because, the Packers come in red hot, winners of 7 straight. Rodgers on fire. They go up early. You got the rookies running things for Dallas, and you think it's going to go away here and it's going to be nothing. But the Cowboys, give them credit.
Yeah.
Hung in there, and they come back. And they have an 18-point fourth quarter.
Right.
They actually tie this game up at, 28?
28.
Fall behind 31-28. They come back and get another field goal themselves to tie it at 31. And then just unbelievable fashion. 3 seconds left. Packers have the ball on 3rd and 20 from their own 33-yard line, Bob.
I know, and they're
that
kicking
is as far out of field goal range as you can get. And he scrambles to his left, and he delivers the pass down the sideline, 40-yard pass or so. The receiver tiptoes the sideline, and with 3 seconds left, they complete the pass to set up a 51-yard Mason Crosby game-winning field goal after he hit that 56-yarder to put them ahead after the Cowboys had tied it. And the Cowboys kicker hit the 51-yard field goal too. So 3 field goals of 50 yards or more in the final 2 minutes of the game. Unreal back and forth. This was the thing that was crazy, Bob, how these teams got into field goal range so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Cowboys tied the game. I go get a drink. I come back, and the Packers are in field goal range
again. Yeah.
I'm like, what did they do?
Yeah.
And the same thing happened when the Packers gave up the field goal to the Cowboys. They let them get right back in field goal range immediately. And then, the Cowboys sacked Rodgers, and you look like, all right, that's it. We're going overtime.
Right.
And then he comes up
That's
with
what I figured
pass.
was going to happen. I thought that, we were going to see an overtime game.
So crazy. Packers advance Prescott did go 302, 3 touchdowns and an interception in his first playoff game, and Ezekiel Elliott 125 yards. So the rookies did play well.
Yes,
Give
they
them
did.
credit. The Cowboys did have a good season. Behind them, you would think their future is bright, but we'll see. Maybe sophomore slump,
Yeah.
or maybe this is the beginning of something for the Cowboys. But Packers advance, and a little history between the Packers and Cowboys, since we're in a historical state of mind. 1967, in what was probably the most famous football game of all time,
Back in the black and white days.
Ice Bowl, as the Packers win it on the QB sneak on 4th down, 1-yard QB sneak, 13 seconds remaining, 21-17, Green Bay wins. And then in the mid-90s,
Right.
early mid-90s, 93 through 95, 3 straight years, the Cowboys beat the Brett Favre Packers to end their season in the playoffs. It was the following year, and the Packers do say that they learned from those losses, and ultimately they did go win that Super Bowl against the Patriots.
Right.
And then in 2015, just a couple years ago, the catch that wasn't a catch.
Right.
The non-catch, as Des Bryant, we see right there, makes the amazing catch on a 4th and 2, 31-yard pass down to the goal line with 4.5 minutes left, trailing 26-21, could have set them up for a game-winning touchdown at the goal line. He makes the catch, what everybody thinks still to this day was a catch, then makes a football move, as we go back to that picture, Mike, to see him extend for the goal line, and that's when the ball comes out and created much havoc and controversy for the fans of football, and now to this day, nobody knows what a catch is.
Right.
So disappointing that was. I do want to touch, we don't have pictures of this, on a little history between Packers and Falcons. I was surprised that they have as 3 matchups. I didn't really think I'd find much, but I had forgotten about one of them, and I didn't even remember one at all. But I did remember the matchup in the dawn of the Matty Ice era when the Falcons were the #1 seed. I believe they were 15-1 that year, 2011. Right. And the Packers came in and, proceeded to just smack them down. Aaron Rodgers, and I do believe that's the year that the Packers went on to win the Super Bowl. 48-21, they beat them. But the game that I had forgotten, remember when Michael Vick led the Atlanta Falcons into Lambeau Field in 2003 and beat them 27-7, the first time ever that the Packers lost a home game in Lambeau Field in the playoffs.
Wow.
Michael Vick got that done. I had forgotten all about that game. 95, a game that doesn't really hold much significance to me, but 37-20, Packers beat the Falcons in Lambeau.
So what's your pick? Besides, we know the Patriots, but...
I just can't put my money behind the Falcons. But, they do have that great offense. The Packers have question marks on defense. Is this run that the Packers are on? I still, like I said last week, I think the first half of the season, first 2/3 of the season really still matter.
Do we know what the line's going to be for the weekend?
Yes. Falcons are favored by 5 points.
Right.
Patriots favored by 5.5. I think somehow, some way, the Patriots play better this week than they did last week. I think they cleaned some things up.
You think it's going to be a high-scoring game?
I think the Patriots will be kind of like a 24-17 game, maybe 28-17. And I think the Falcons-Packers game has a chance to be 35-31, 35-28.
I mean, Packers-Steelers, I know it would be an ideal matchup.
We could have a rematch of Patriots-Packers from 96-97.
Right.
Or we could have a rematch of Packers-Steelers from 2011-2012. Falcons could break up the marquee matchups. It would be a marquee matchup either way, Rodgers versus Brady, or rematch of 2 storied franchises, Steelers-Packers. If the Falcons get in, that would kind of muddy the waters a little bit.
Right.
I don't know. My predictions in recent years have been terrible in these big games, so I kind of stay away from them now. But I do think somehow the Patriots will get the victory. And how about this, Bob? They really need to get the victory because they need to come face-to-face with Roger Goodell, the coward.
Oh, yeah.
Where was he last weekend in the playoffs? In Atlanta, at the Georgia Dome. Where's he going to be this weekend? You would think he'd make the trip to Foxborough, right? See the Patriots-Steelers?
No.
He's going back to Atlanta because he's a coward and will not show his face and face the boos in Foxborough. Unbelievable. So the only way the Patriots are going to get to go face-to-face with him, which needs to happen, is to go to the Super Bowl. So I will pick them just for that mark. All right, we're going to run through some things in the final 3 minutes here. Celtics, who have been red hot, 13-4 in their last 17 games, but one of those losses came last night in
against
despicable fashion against the Brickerbockers, who were 3-11 in their last 14. But the Knicks get it done 117-106. How about this for a rebounding edge? 57-33, Bob.
Right.
You know, when you're watching a basketball team play and they lose, it's one thing if they play hard.
Right.
But when they get out-rebounded like that, I mean, it is a disgrace. Derrick Rose looked like the MVP from 2007 with 30 points. Isaiah Thomas goes for 38 again.
Right.
I mean, he is on fire, Bob. So Celtics remain in third place in the Eastern Conference. Knicks remain in 11th place, 19-24. Celtics 26-16. NHL, Bob.
You really want to talk about the Bruins?
Oh, no, I do not. First, they get shut out by the Islanders this week, 4-0 on the eve of the Islanders firing their coach. So how bad are the Islanders? They're as bad as the Devils, who shut out the Bruins last week. So apparently the Devils and the Islanders just need to play the Bruins more often. Then last night, they looked to bounce back from that hideous loss to the Islanders. They go up 3-0 in the first 10 minutes of the game in Detroit. Then they go up 4-1 in the second period, and they lose 6-5 in a shootout. Oh, sure, we get the 1 point because it went into overtime. Big deal. How about winning the game? They are a disgrace. Your Rangers, Bob, firmly entrenched in that wild card spot, as they had now fallen 4 points off the pace for the top 3 seeds. 4 behind Pittsburgh, 7 behind the Capitals and the Blue Jackets. Speaking of other disgraceful basketball performances, how about the UConn men's basketball team? After the back-to-back wins, they fall flat in Georgetown against the Hoya Destroyers. They got a 14-point lead in the second half, and they let Georgetown, who has been terrible all season, go on a 22-4 run, Bob. 22-4 run as they blow that 14-point lead in the second half, and they lose 72-69. They play tonight back in the AAC against SMU's 15-4, 5-1, getting no love. They're receiving votes, but not in the top 10. Cincinnati. Oh, you thought we were going to make it through a whole show without referencing Cincinnati. But again, Cincinnati, the only team from the AAC in the top 25 at 16-2 and 6-0. But UConn has better get it done. Lady Huskies at least keep winning as they got their 91st.
Are we live next week?
We are not live. We'll be off next week. We'll be back the week before the Super Bowl to preview the Super Bowl and talk about who won this weekend. So enjoy the games this weekend, and we will be back to preview the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. Thanks for tuning in.
Work hard every day.